September 24th, and this is the London Review. Hi guys, this is Robert Rivera with the Rivera Trading Group in association with Trading Academy. Here enjoying my nice cup of joe, getting ready for the day, and discussing last night's trades. Again, last night I sent out the GBP USD. We've been on that for a couple months now, watching it moving up and down, and we saw that it found a level of support last night, or it looked like it may be finding a level of support because it's broken down below the 200 moving average, and a move of that kind tends to drop really, really hard, but it's having a hard time moving down. But in any event, we basically had another flag formation last night, and also pivots came into play. I mentioned in my car chats with Robert yesterday how pivot points work, so I want to mention it here too. Pivot points are a formula calculated based on the high and the low of the day and where a price is likely to reverse. And so the way we use it is if price breaks through a zone and it moves down to a pivot, we watch for the reaction at the pivot. That may be the place where we take profit. But if it rejects from that pivot and goes, it usually goes to the next. So we also have a good idea of where we could take profit or how long we could hold our trade as it's moving towards the next pivot. Once it hits that pivot, we usually are taking profit. It is one of the strategies that we use at Trend Trading Academy, and I'm going to briefly discuss it here in the next video. So as we can see from the setup here, this is the continuation of the drop from GBP USD, and we're looking at a flag pattern right there, the same one that we've been watching as it's been trending down. From that break, that was not 22 pips. Actually, that was, let me see if I can figure this out. That's about 40 pips to the downside. And the reason why I'm saying that is because that 22 pips is based on a zone that I have marked below, and that's the break of that zone. But in fact, from the top of the trend line, that's you looking like something like 40 some pips. So the action last night brought us to the break of that trend line, the retest of the same, and a drop down for, again, let's say about 40 pips or so. Following that, it did find support, which is what we see right here in the middle. It found support right there. It kept testing, trying to go down, testing, trying to go down. When it didn't go down, I went ahead and focused my attention on buys. Now I am looking for the buy on this play, right? Because it found support and it cannot go below it. And I am very aware that on the daily, it's at a critical point. So I'm waiting and expecting the bullish move. So here it comes. It broke through the trend line, through the other trend line, the descending trend line, and as soon as it went above that pivot, it's that white line right there, that P that you see right there. As soon as it went over that pivot, I am waiting for a retest of the same, and I'm taking it to the upside. And sure enough, here it comes. It closed above the yellow line, the yellow horizontal line. It came back down, retested it. That's when I took it. And of course, sure enough, it went straight to the next pivot point, the R1, the resistance one, and it rejected there. In fact, it tested it twice, and it rejected it and then dropped. It's actually a very good entry for a sell right at that pivot point because, again, as I mentioned before, it is an area where it tends to reverse. And sure enough, that's what it did. It reversed once for a good 40 pips, and it reversed again for more than that, over 50 pips on the next drop. Now it's making its way back up. But again, we don't linger in the market once we get our pips. So again, that was 40 pips to the downside, 48 pips to the upside. From the moment it found support and the break of the trend line to the upside, we're probably looking at 75 pips or so. Very easy win, actually. Very easy win. Even though the market was choppy, this is when we move to the higher time frame, guys. We move to the higher time frames to avoid getting faked out. I have mentioned this before in other videos, and it is important that we keep in mind that if you know, like for example, I was looking at the 15-minute because I was looking for entry. If the 50-minute is very choppy, which it was, okay, when the market is like this, moving up and down like so, it can be very choppy. Then I move to the hour, then I move to the 4 hour to get a bigger perspective of what is happening. And that gave me a clear indication in the beginning that it was selling, and then later on that it was buying. It just made it really easy to see. These are the results from last night, and again, it actually this is how it worked out. As price is moving up and up and up and up and up, and I see it climb the pivot point. I waited. I saw the retest of it, and then took an entry. And I'm hanging out, thinking this is gonna take a while. This may take a little bit of time. So I'm playing chess on my phone, and I look up, and my charts are gone. My MT4 is cleared. I'm like, what? And I look up, it had spiked up. That took all of about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, honestly. Now, I was sitting there in the market for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But once it made it move, it was 5-10 minutes and I got my profit. Again, that beats the job every single day. And pivot points are very powerful, guys. They do work with a high, I mentioned yesterday, with a very high level of consistency. And it is quite reliable either when it breaks out of a zone or even within the zone. Once it climbs a pivot point, it tends to use it as support moving up, and if it breaks down below, it uses it as resistance going down. So you can take advantage of these. Please let us know if we can help you learning how to use pivots for your trading strategy. We'd be happy to help you. Once again, pivot points come out to be pretty important in our trade setup, and the flag pattern or the pennant pattern for entry proved to be powerful again. Always remember, when the market is trending, you're going to see those pennant and flag patterns a lot. You're going to see them because, again, every time price comes to a certain point, impulse move, retracement, creates a flag pattern, breakout. Okay, that's another impulse. Retracement creates another pennant or flag pattern, breakout. That's how trends are. Nothing moves in a straight linear move, right? There is an impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement. Those retracements are people taking profit, right? If it always went in one direction, nobody was taking profit. It has to be a point where people are taking profit. And so when people are taking profit, it could prove as a great position for entry if the market sentiment is that it's going to continue. So that's the way to take advantage of the flag and pennant patterns. But also using that in conjunction with zones and using that in conjunction with pivot points can give you an edge, and the 50 moving average. That's a lot, isn't it? It can give you an edge on how to read what's happening with market structure and price action. Anyway, this is already long enough. This is Robert Rivera with the Rivera Trading Group in association with Trend Trading Academy. I hope that you feel that you're receiving value from the content, and if so, please like, comment, and subscribe. God bless you.